Yellow. So today I'm going to be giving this gold mirror kind of a facelift. I don't like the way that it was kind of clashing with the yellow chairs in the kitchen. So I'm just using products that I already had at home. These brushes, the bigger brush, the one with the red handle, I got a package of them at Goodwill for a couple of bucks. And this white glossy paint I got at Walmart for a couple of bucks a while ago. So I am just lining the mirror and making sure that I don't get paint on the mirror. And then also the very inner part, the inner edge part of the mirror, which I'll show you in the next clip, I wanted to make sure that I painted that very white as well, so everything matched. Initially, I thought that I was going to paint the entire mirror white, but then when I started getting into it, I thought that, I was like, what would it look like if I left the edge, the outer parts where it's kind of framed, if I left that part gold? I do like the gold mirror. I initially bought the mirror, I got this at Goodwill for 11 bucks, I believe, but I bought the mirror for the living room and it ended up being very small, but I painted it gold because I've got some gold features in the living room and I wanted it to tie in. But when I moved it to the kitchen, I left it there for a while. And then after we got the yellow stools, like I said, I don't like the way that it looked. I just feel like it clashed and it was very loud. And my kitchen is primarily white, so I wanted to make sure that it tied in with the kitchen. And I was like, okay, let me leave the outer edges yellow, which was kind of a pain in the butt, as you can see, but it was definitely worth it. These fine ridges that were along the outer part of the mirror and also doing the corners were probably the hardest part. And not that it was hard, it was just tedious and took a lot of layers, which was fine. But this is the beauty of paint, and like I said in a couple of my videos, I'm sure, paint and contact paper and things that are very cheap, you can always switch them up, which I am constantly doing. You know, switching things up, switching up colors, having fun. It is your house. Do not care what other people think of what you do with your house. Just go for it. You can always repaint it or resurface it or switch it up. And I like to consider myself a pretty resourceful person. Most of the time I try to use things that I already have around the house. And if you don't have them, you don't have to spend a lot of money to make things look nice. There are so many different stores that you can visit. The Habitat for Humanity, Goodwill, there's other, donated furniture stores that you can visit. People throw away stuff all the time that are nice things, You might have to look a little bit harder, but there's nothing wrong with that. You can definitely make things look nice and not have to spend a ton of money. And also, if you don't know how to do something, like say you're, flipping your bathroom and you don't know how to tile, look up videos, how-to videos. There's so many social sites nowadays that have tutorial videos on how to do things so that you're saving a bunch of money. I know that like when you get things done, say for flooring, for example, people charge a butt ton of money for labor. Try to do them yourself. And if you mess up, that's okay. That's a part of learning, it's a learning experience. And I'm giving you guys a look here. This is after the first coat and it is very streaky. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna take so many coats, but that's okay. I can't even tell you how many times I've used these brushes. That's another thing. When you're painting, don't throw away your brush unless you've like used it a bunch of times and it's dingy and it's frailing and all of that, throw it away. But I always wash my brushes after I paint. Like why, brushes can be expensive, especially if you're buying like the high quality brushes. I definitely make sure I get a bunch of uses out of it, but just wash it. And what I do is I just use some hot soapy water, wash them out, and it's perfectly fine for another use. And I'm just showing you guys a sneak peek of the second coat. And I was like, okay, I'm really glad that I didn't paint the metal parts, the gold parts, because I think that it gives it a nice pop and it looks so good. The end result, I was like, yes, I'm really glad that I stuck to it. And I am going in with the third coat here. And I believe I ended up doing, 4 coats total. And it was getting later on in the day and I was just like, oh no, I didn't want to run out of light, but it ended up taking me 2 days to complete this project just because I had to let the paint dry, obviously, and I didn't have any primer. And as you know, when you go from a dark coat or a dark color to a light color, obviously it's going to take way more layers of paint. All right, so it is nighttime and I'm done with the white paint, but as you can see, I definitely got some white paint on some of the gold. So initially I had the bright idea of using acetone to take it off, and I knew this was gonna strip the yellow or the gold paint, but I was like, let me try it anyway. So I tried that and it definitely did strip the gold paint, and I didn't have any more of this solid gold paint, which I got at Walmart, by the way, it was like a really small bottle for like $2, I think. So I ended up using some other gold paint, which didn't match directly, but it's still, you can't even tell. So this gold paint I got at Home Depot a while back, and it's more of like a shimmery metallic-y gold. And the gold that I use on the mirror is more of like an antique solid gold. So I just went in and covered up the parts where I accidentally got some white on the gold. And like I said, you could not even tell. I mean, there was only a few spots that I had to touch up, so it wasn't a big deal at all. All right, so it is the next day. Everything is really dry. I made sure that it was nice and dry because obviously I was going to be hanging it up. But I am just removing the tape here, which was kind of a pain in the butt because it kept splitting. But I just took a pair of scissors, and you can also use a razor blade, and just cut the tape and pulled it up, and it came up pretty well. All right, so I finally got this thing hung up and I'm so excited. In this next clip here, I'm going to show you a close-up. I turned the lights on because it was still kind of early in the morning, but I'm going to give you a close-up here. And woohoo! I am so excited. I love the feeling of a completed project, no matter how big or small, and especially if it's something that you like. like this because it's not as bold as the gold, but it still has the gold touch on it. And I think that it incorporates well, a lot better in the kitchen than the previous gold. I'm going to give you guys a before and after picture. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you.